Go ahead and go live early. How about that? There we go. We're gonna go live early because we're just cantankerous like that. Hi everybody, it's Jason here at Green Country Agri-Forestry. It's 8:30 p.m. Wednesday. Well, it's almost 8:30. It's like 8:29 p.m. On a Wednesday night. So it's time for another live stream. You may notice that the lighting is a little bit off at the moment. That's because we've got one light over there on the corner, and unless I want to use the solar lights, oh, that was a little bit bright, to make up the difference. I mean, I can if it starts getting dark and it gets weird and stuff like that. I don't really want to do that right now. And I said, we'll let the light levels adjust. So my green screen is going to be a little bit dark behind me tonight because if you've been following what's going on with the latest videos, you know that we're doing a garage clean out. And I just got finished with that. I don't know if it shows, but if it looks like I'm a little bit darker, it's because I haven't washed my face yet. I got my hands washed. There's a lot of that old pink insulation stuff in there, and we're pulling all kinds of just garbage and trash and everything out of the garage. We got a huge dumpster. It's one of those ones that's more tall than it is long. So once we got everything in there that we could get into lower levels, we closed the gates on it. About an hour or two ago is when we closed the gates on it. But now I had to step up on a step ladder to dump this cartons of stuff in it, and we're at the point now where we're just using the manuring fork to scoop up debris from the bottom of the floor of the garage, and we put it into a big tote, and we put them in the wheelbarrow and pull the wheelbarrow out there and just dump them over into the dumpster. So we're at that stage of the cleaning out the garage. We already went through and went, okay, we're keeping the bandsaw, we're keeping the drill press, we're keeping those tools there. Everything else is garbage. It goes. What about the garbage? It goes. It's everything goes. It's all gone. It's all gone. I know we're going into the greatest depression, and it's going to be every man for himself. And every last bit of stuff that I just threw away is going to be stuff that I'm desperately going to. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. There's a whole bunch of just garbage, just junk. You know how it is. You let stuff accumulate and you go like, well, I might use this someday, and you're never going to use it. You're never going to use it. Stuff that I might use it someday has been sitting in that garage since before we came to this house. It came with the house. It all needs to go. It just all needs to go because we've got to tear down the carport. Because the carport's going to collapse if we're not too careful pretty soon. And then we need to get rid of that garage because the roof's already caving in on parts of the garage, right? So we need to get rid of that. Once that's done, I've got those cement blocks. I can use those for something else. The concrete pad the garage is on, I can use to set up my wood shed, my real wood shed, not the temporary one that we made there, redneck style. Holding up amazingly well, by the way. Have you seen that thing? Oh, I haven't brought the camera by it lately, have I? No, I haven't. I'll have to bring the camera over there and show you what the redneck wood shed looks like after a winter of just going through some really high winds and cold temperatures and freezing temperatures and just craziness. It's hanging in there pretty good. Just quick hi there to Lori's World joining us tonight, along with Sassafras Red, Billy at the Wickshire Project, and all of the other wonderful cool kids, Vicky Savage, and so on and so forth. Billy has been trying to talk me into doing something on cold weather seeds and cold weather crops. And I think it's a great idea. Carolyn's Food Force in here with us too. Sorry, Carolyn, I didn't see you there. And it's a great topic. It's just something I have not done any research on, and I don't want to start flapping my gums without having done my research. In general, I mean, I know the stuff that I like to plant for cooler season, and I can maybe talk about that. But what's going to be my go-to for cool season may not be the go-to for you. And Betty is on my green screen. Come here, girl. Come here, girl. Hi. How you doing? Come here. Oh, hello. Sorry, ma'am. Oh, sorry. Oh, all right. So this is the Bettykins. Miss Black Betty. Hi. Say hello to everybody. She's not really a black cat, and you can't really tell. Here, hang on a second. Let me turn the lights on. She's not a black cat. She is a brown cat in disguise. Do you see that deceptive brown coat there? That red. Do you see the red? Do you see it? She is actually a brown cat masquerading as a black cat. You are sneaky. She's a sneaky kitty. Yes, she is. But she's going through her first heat, and hopefully she's not going to have any kittens. Hopefully we've managed to get her inside before anything happened. Hi, baby kitty. All right, now behave yourself. Don't pull the thing down on me. All right. Yeah, the garage, it was a mess, and it was full of all this stuff. And so before we can even begin to demolish it, we have to clear it out. So we've been working on that. Also, Brendan, the guy that's staying with us, it's him and his wife. His wife is one of my daughter's friends from school, from like whenever they were little, right? They're old family friend, and they are having some trouble getting themselves started properly in life. Relocated from Texas, and they're refugees from Texas at the moment. But Brenda is working on screening in the front porch and getting some I guess practical example experience of crud. I think my green screen just went bye. He's getting some practical hands-on experience at carpentry and doing a fairly decent job of it. You see, Kitty, this is what happens. This is exactly what happens. This is what happens. You cannot play with my green screen, Kitty. It's not done. It's just not done. It's not done, Kitty. She's rambunctious. Hi. The house has been taken over by kittens. So the important part of the screening project is once that's done, I can tack up plastic sheeting, the little 6 mil plastic sheeting, clear plastic sheeting whenever the winter comes, and we can have the front porch screened in with plastic sheeting that we can take down whenever. And this is temporary measures until we get to like a full on properly done screen porch. But this is just temporary measures, cheap stuff. But that'll work, and I could put the cats out there, and whenever the temperatures drop below freezing, whenever it's in the single digits, because outdoor kitties, whenever we had a floor furnace running, they come and they gather underneath the house where the floor furnace was running, and they'd stay warm there. But now we don't have the floor furnace running. I haven't built a basement yet. Eventually, I'll probably want to have a basement and maybe an external furnace. And whenever that happens, they'll probably gather in the basement where the warm air is coming through from the furnace house or wherever I do that. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. We'll jump off that bridge when we get to it. It's going to involve a rocket mass heater and the concrete pad that'll be left after we do the garage demolition and some other stuff. So, more stuff in the future, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Right now, the cats are in the house, so. It's put back my plant starts. I don't know what I'm going to do for plant starts. I think we're just going to do direct sowing and hope for the best because, like I said in the description, if you read it, I got some pretty clear indications this morning that spring is going to give us just a straight on, at least out here on the prairie. I walked out there. I was taking care of the ducks, and the ducks made a noise. And I go, what are they carrying on about? Usually they make that noise whenever they alert to something. Is it a hawk? Is it a strange tomcat or something? What is it? And I look around, and up there in the maple tree over to the side, there's that squirrel just sitting there looking at me like, did you see me? You didn't see me? Yeah, I saw you. He's up there in that maple tree. And then I noticed that the maple tree is it's fully in bloom. It's fully up there. So the bee that I saw like a day or two ago that was buzzing around, that's probably a scout. And now the scouts are out and they have found the maples. And that's the first series of tree flowers that the bees are going to be feasting on. After that, we're going to go into red buds, and we're going to go into all the prunus, all the almonds and the pears and pears, not prunus, it's pyrus, but anyway, all of those early spring flowering trees are going to start coming on, and the bees are getting started now. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be lots of fun. Hello, everybody. Let me scroll through comments real quick here. Make sure I caught up with everybody that's in the house. Mary finally caught up with us. Packages. Oh, I got packages. Do you want me to open packages? I can open packages. Yeah. I can open. Well, Vicky. She's not black though. She's close to black, right? She's got like that, burgundy hue on her back. She looks like she's black. She's not though. Yeah. Anyway, let me show you something real quick before I show you the packages that Mary ordered and wants to see. Yes, we got packages, Mary. They arrived. All right. So, like I said, sometimes the garden gives me marbles, and it's decided after Santa give me buttons to start to give me marbles again. So we got this one here. All right, and then we got this old one too. Look at this thing. Look at that. That's something. Yeah, really, really old marbles. So that goes that goes my collection of marbles to replace the ones I lost when I was a kid. There we go. All right. Mary says no, no. No, no, don't open packages. But there's packages. What's in these packages? I don't know. Mary must have ordered stuff. They're I'll tell you what, if it's gross stuff, I won't show them. Look, it is Optifree Riddance. There we go. Saline solution. What could be wrong with that? You're out there working in the garage, you're moving stuff around, you're dealing with old dusty junk, and stuff falls down in your eyes, and all of a sudden, you know, even though you're trying to be careful, you got stuff in your eyeballs. And this is an emergency because you don't know what in the world is out there in that garage that could be out there in the dust that's now gotten to your eyeballs. This is a critical situation. So you frantically grab your glasses and you try not to blink too much because you know that there could be little bits of glass or something like that in that dust. You just don't know what you just got a face full of. So you rush inside. You need something to flush your eyeballs out good. Well, of course, having a little bit of saline solution. Of course, this is contact lens solution, this wetting solution. You can use that to flush your eyeballs out with in the case of an emergency. It doesn't have to be name brand stuff. I know it's green screen, so you can't see it, but this is a good thing to have in your medicine cabinet. That's that. There we go. Use the plain stuff for your eyeballs if you don't have contacts, she says. All right, fine. I know it's for the guy with contact lenses, but you know, in case of emergency, I'm not going to be like, which one of these guys spray to get the stuff out of my eyes. Fortunately, did not have that accident today. All right. Okay, let's see. What do we have here? Oh, my. We've got Mary, your bras arrived. You got bras. They arrived. Isn't that awesome? You got bras. Isn't that cool? Okay. Ooh. Oh, and Eucomia bark extract tablets, 60 of these. Thank you very much. That reminds me, I ran out of that prepared coffee stuff, the Eucomia Ulamoides extract stuff. The recommended dose is like 2 capsules of these per day. It's the an extract. Ulamoides is what is this? Eucomia Ulamoides. It's the hardy rubber tree, right? And yeah, I'll put it in here. I'll just put it on here. Yeah, rubber tree puts a bounce in your step. I can't tell you exactly how it works because I haven't bothered looking. All I know is it does seem to help whenever you're an older gentleman and you don't heal as fast as you used to, and you get the aches and pains that you get whenever you get older, and you want to have fewer of those aches and pains, and you want to have more up energy, and so on and so forth. This particular thing seems to help. Seems to. I am not a physician. Contact your physician if you. Awesome. No, these are not battle dressings. These are just liners. Battle dressings. Yeah, the actual pads, you can always use those in case of an emergency to stop bleeding of all kinds. But those are for, wait, I think those are for somebody else. What is this? What in the world is in here? Wipes. Cedar wipes? What the heck? Mary? This is different. What is this? Sasper said, what is that again? Rubber tree. Yes, the hardy rubber tree. It's Eucomia ulamoides. EUCOMIA ulamoides. ULIMOIDES. I think is how it's spelled. And it's the hardy rubber tree. It's hardy to zone 7, which means we should possibly, well, maybe be able to grow it here. We might have to give it maybe some thermal mass so it has protection in the winter and doesn't die off in the winter. I don't know if it's going to be like that or not, and I don't know where to find them yet. So hey, guys, homework assignment: if you're out there looking for trees and you happen to come across Eucomia uliamoi is a hardy rubber tree, let me know where you found it, because I do want to add one of those to my garden plan, because it does actually seem to aid with just the slowdown of male aging. We'll put it that way. It is not a blood flow enhancer. It is an endocrine system booster, I think would be the way to put it. All right, this is Good Wipes flushable plant-based fibers. Oh, okay, I see. So this is kind of like those baby wipes, but these are for adults, and apparently there's cedars in it. So that's cool. Mary, these are, I think, for you, unless you're going to let me have some. Maybe, I don't know. We found that these are really. I'm not going to open up the thing. You guys know what the baby wipes are, right? You get the unscented baby wipes, and you put those in your pantry for prepping supplies. And then whenever we're working on restricted water usage, because you only have what you got in the bathtub and what's in the back of the tank, and you want to flush when it's time to flush and nothing else. Well, I mean, you're going to have to wash up, right? You're going to have to stay clean. And the baby wipes, they already have water, and sometimes there's a mild cleansing agent in them. Usually they're mostly water though, and that helps clean things. And you can use them for mild sanitation and keeping washing your hands off and stuff like that. The moisture stays here, and that way you can stay hygienic and not go through a lot of water whenever you're in one of those emergency situations where you just have to stay indoors and keep the windows closed and maybe put plastic over them so the dust doesn't come in, because the dust is radioactive, if you know what I mean. Basic CBR preparedness stuff. Baby wipes, yeah, you can use those, and it turns out that they're so convenient to use all the rest of the time too. We just use them for everyday purposes now. But cedar scented, yeah, I guess that sounds pretty good. Guys, is chat working at all right now? Because I'm down at the bottom of chat in StreamYard, and all I see here is when Sassafras said, "What was that again?" Rubber tree. So I'm going to put a little ... and see if it shows up. Okay, all right. Well, it's showing me chat on this end, so probably there is chat. I don't know. If you guys are talking, I don't see it. I'm sorry. That happens with StreamYard sometimes. Let me try this. I'm going to turn my volume down real quick, and I'll just go over here. We'll go over to the show on YouTube. Yay. No. Yeah, that's right. It's here, guys. It's here. Let me mute that. Okay, now I can turn my volume back up. All right, there we go. Mary, you're a good woman for putting up with Jason. Really? Really? Really, really? Really, really? Test 1, 2, 3. Okay, I see you. I see it. All right. I see chat again. I don't know. Sometimes StreamYard doesn't pass chat, and it's like, radioactive dust. You need to breathe some fresh air now. Get out of that negative vibe. Well, I mean, part of the advantage of having a screened-in front porch is in case of a national emergency, I can always take the screened-in front porch with the plastic wrap put up around it and turn it into an emergency washdown station. Right, as one does whenever they're properly prepared for their basic civic duty as an American citizen. We are the first responders. What are you talking about? What was that? Broken Arrow Nursery. Oh, Broken Arrow Nursery. That may be right down the road from me. That may be right down the road from me. All right. So if you guys have been watching, I dropped a video this morning. Pardon me. I got dust. Okay. Don't ask where that went. You don't want to know. All right. Uh, we dropped a video this morning where I was talking about what we were planning out there because it looks like I said, that we got the indications that we're going to have a spring and it's going. The trees I'm looking at were mature trees, not younger ones. So they've been through a few winters. They know what to look for, and if they say that spring is on, then spring is on. I have faith that old maple tree knows what she's talking about. So if she's putting her flowers on, then it's go time. So at least here on the prairie, we're going to go ahead and make the assumption that we're going to have an early spring and go ahead and move up whatever plans you had for plant starts and getting things in the ground. Go ahead and move it up by about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, depending upon where you're at. What's she saying here? Carol said there's a rubber tree in Fort Myers, Florida, at the Thomas Edison Museum. Henry Ford was a good friend, lived across the street. Edison helped develop the rubber for tires for Ford. Yeah, well, even these smaller rubber trees like the hardy rubber tree, it's not the kind of latex producer that the tropical rubber tree is, but it does produce latex, and you could definitely harvest the latex and use it for things that you need latex for. We have all kinds of rubber valves, O-rings, and stuff like that have to be replaced, that wear out on modern day equipment, whereas the pump bodies and things like that, the physical part that we're going to use may endure for decades and decades and decades, and at least long enough for us to get ourselves back on track so that somebody can replace parts. A lot of things that I'm looking at for long-term survivability in case of extreme emergency. We're talking like the sun does a Carrington event type thing and we don't get the power back on in our lifetimes. Yeah. That sort of thing. We still need to do things like move water, right? Most of us don't live near where we can just dip water up out of the ground at the surface level and it's okay and safe to drink. Most surface water, not really okay and safe to drink, because we're talking about rivers and lakes and streams and ponds, and that stuff can get kind of iffy if you're going to be trying to consume it. You can purify it, you can boil it and filter it and all that stuff, but you're still better off with a well. A well is going to require a pump, and pumps have parts that will wear out inside of your lifetime. And if you don't have a good way of replacing those parts, then you're just not going to be able to get fresh, clean water anymore, and that would be kind of tragic. So in your planning, try to think in terms of how you're going to get replacement parts. If they're rubber seals, keep them enclosed in sealed containers, hermetically sealed, no air gets to them, and keep them out of sunlight. Keep them in the dark. Very, very important for your, and if at all possible, I don't know. Some plastics require a more humid environment, or they will also dehydrate and dry out. So check and see what kind of seals you need and what they need to stay conditioned. And if possible, get replacement seals for your pumps, right? Just in case you have to just service the pump that you have to get your water. Vicky, of course, has spring water that she can get right from the rocks. Of course she does. And good for her, because she picked her property out well ahead of time and spent a long time being able to afford to have her property with spring water right there from the rocks. So, yeah. Brag. Brag. I was in such a hurry. I did not have time to really do much of anything in the way of show prep or anything. I just sort of grabbed a regular coffee and threw a little bit of nasty creamer in there, and that's all I've got to sip on here. The small spring behind the house would need a quarter horsepower shallow well pump to get it up 75 feet height, 300 feet to the backyard. So what you can do in some cases where you've got height challenges, and this is well kind of a variation on what we did back on the farm, because we used two pumps. We used two pumps in two stages. We had one pump, and this was an open cistern well that was about 5.5, 6 foot across, from one wall to the other in a masonry wall. So it was dug down, and then they laid the masonry wall up the sides and everything. But about midway up, it should be about 30 foot down, we had a platform where we had one pump down there, and then we had another pump on the top. And so we used two pumps in tandem with a ballast tank on the landing 30 foot down. So if you imagine what we're doing here, we have the one pump that runs and it gets the water up into the ballast tank that holds it. And there, since it's got like sulfurish scent to the water, because who doesn't out here? The ballast tank lets some of that sulfide gas out, and then the pump up here at the top pulls out of the ballast tank and brings it the rest of the way up. So it's two stages. And you could do this. You could do this if you've got say open access to water from streams and stuff like that too. You can operate a smaller pump down here on the lower level and get it to some sort of reservoir that you're holding halfway up, or even a third of the way up. And then once you've got that filled up, you use the next pump to bring it up a little bit further, a little bit further. So getting your headspace with lower end pumps, if that's all you've got, or primitive means, you can still do it. Just do it in stages going up the hill. All right. Sasspress got pagoda tree. If Mary is ever in Albuquerque. Hugo Homestead says hi. The path down is dangerous and loaded with leg-devouring brambles. Oh, yeah. That's you don't want to have to hike up and down that to carry your water, obviously, right? Carrying water is no fun. I had to do it as a kid, and it was no fun. No fun. Well, at least we had the pumps to get it up out of the well, and I didn't have to haul it up out of the buckets up out of the well. But I had to fill them there at the pump house and carry them, because the distance from the pump house to the barns and to the other outbuildings where the livestock were was too far for garden hoses to stretch, especially in the middle of winter, whenever everything would be frozen solid anyway. So, it's about 4 gallons of water per 5-gallon bucket. So you have a little slosh space at the top, because you do not want to spill this on you in the middle of the winter, right? Oh, motion sensing lights. Hey. And then that's about 8 pounds per gallon. So 32 pounds each hand. And then you have to carry them. You have to carry them with your fingertips, because if you try to carry them here, eventually that metal bail, because the plastic ring they put on the handle of your bucket, it wears off. So it's just the metal wire cutting into your fingers, so you have to roll it to your fingertips. Now you're carrying 30 pounds with your fingertips, and you do this back and forth for a couple hours every day, and you develop really good strength in your hands. It's nice, but it's no fun. It's no fun carrying water to livestock in buckets. No fun. If I had to do it, I would set up some system where I can have maybe a trough that I get the water into, and it can run down the trough, an open top trough, say, to wherever the livestock buckets and watering things are. And then I just move the water up to get it into the trough, and it shoots down to all the livestock, and I don't have to worry about it. They're taken care of, right? Yeah, that would work. All right. I was talking about that spring. Last time I calculated, like 7 to 9 gallons per minute. Yeah. Well, you build like a sealed cement cistern tank. You might have like a big sheet metal lid that you put over the top of it or something. But otherwise it'd be. I did not have a yoke to carry the water. That would have made it so much easier. We'd wrap them with rags and stuff, and then the rags would be lopsided and weird, and rubber hose. I used rubber hose to replace them. Rubber hose actually worked pretty well. Billy's talking about getting down the slope to where the spring is, trying to get to the water. So yeah, I mean, if you don't have a way to move your water from the spring or out of a well, or get clean water, that's a big problem, a big problem, big problems. I wonder, is there a thing I can do? See, I seem to recall. What am I doing here? I seem to recall. Nope. There's an option in StreamYard. No, that's comments. There's an option in StreamYard that makes them automatically display, I think. But I don't know how to make it automatically display. I don't know. I would have to go look it up. I know some people do it. Darn it, poo. See, I don't know everything. Look at that. Mickey says, Jason, would you like me to send you a bottle of spring water fresh from? No, that's fine. Yeah, just be a bottle of spring water fresh from the rocks. You're just trying to flex. All right. So what did I plant out there? I planted alfalfa. I'm not flipping them off, honestly, I swear. I'm just scratching this side of my face here. Yeah, living water in transit. Who knows? My little water bears come crawling out of it. Tardigrades, and they grow to like tremendous size. Anyway, so I planted clover, I planted alfalfa, I planted a little bit of amaranth, which as you go on with amaranth, it you should not have better and better crops of amaranth every year. We'll put it that way. Amaranth grows on really bad soil. And so if you're doing stuff to improve your soil quality, growing amaranth is kind of a measure by which you can test it and see how it's doing. If your amaranth plants keep on getting smaller and smaller and smaller, then you're actually doing a good job. You're improving your soil. Congratulations. So whenever amaranth grows really well, your soil is not so good. It needs work. What else we plant out there? I planted the cabbages, obviously, and I'm thinking about planting some of these. Can you see the stuff in there? You guys know what these are? Back on Billy's topic about cold season stuff, right? This is a legume. It's a legume. It's a legume that is commonly eaten in the Middle Eastern cuisine. It's not chickpeas, although chickpeas also, oddly enough, can germinate at very, very, very low soil temperatures, like in the 40s, right? But these are also in that category of things that germinate at very low soil temperatures. Yes, Vicky has it. It's lentils. Lentils, by golly, lentils by the billions. So I'm thinking about maybe going out there in the front yard and spreading around a few lentil plants. I planted these. I got this bag actually for a Can I Plant That episode a couple years ago, and I sowed lentils and I grew some. I was like, okay, there you go. And I don't think I might have maybe uploaded the video, but I was doing a whole bunch of other stuff at the same time, and it just wasn't a great quality video, and I had other things I was doing. I don't think I uploaded it at all. But yes, I was able to grow lentils from a bag full of lentils from the grocery store. So we will add lentils as a small leguminous plant out there. Miss Sassref saying that mix, it was alfalfa, amaranth. It was alfalfa. I have two different mixes, and I was putting them both down. I didn't show putting them both down. I showed what was in the bucket. That was what was left of the original mix that I was using, which was like the coarse, heavy stuff that doesn't really go in the shaker well, and that you just pick up and you hand broadcast that. And that one was sunflower, safflower, buckwheat, daikon, sugar beet. Anything else? Yeah, that's about it. And then if I wanted to, I could probably add a small legume to it, right? And then the stuff that went in the smaller shaker was alfalfa and clover with amaranth. And sometimes I put in other stuff there like fennel or dill or something like that. I just don't happen to have any fennel or dill right now, so I need to make a note to myself, Jason. Grab a pencil and sheet of paper and write a note to yourself that says, oh, what's it say? Call insurance about. We already did that. Note to self. Wait, what am I writing a note to myself about? Somebody, what was it? What was I? Let's see, that's the reason why I grabbed the piece of paper. So I need to write a note to myself to do something. What is it I need to do? Oh, yes. Get more fennel and dill, etc., etc. I need some more clovers. I need red, particularly, right? And I'm going to run out of alfalfa, so I might want to get more. I got fennel and dill, maybe some more red clover. I don't know if the red clover's coming up or not. I've been mixing the red clover and white clover and just broadcast sowing it all together. And the idea is whichever one wants to grow in that spot, right? Whichever one says, okay, the conditions are right for me to grow here, that's what's going to pop up, right? So if it goes, it goes. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And if the seeds sit there in the soiled seed bank and they go, well, I'm just going to wait for the right circumstances. And we just have those there waiting. And then, the day comes that they pop up and they grow. But every season's not the right time for every seed, and sometimes there are cycles that you're just not going to see growth in a certain area. I don't know. I was trying to make an analogy there of seeds being kind of like ideas, right? It may not be the right season for every idea, but you want to keep the good ideas and keep them in rotation, right? Same thing with with soil seed bank, and when you're trying to do soil improvement, you want to keep those. You want to keep those good seeds in rotation. So amaranth may not be the thing that you're looking at for a food crop or anything, but you want to keep it going. You want to keep it alive and keep it somewhere there so that you can have it do its magic in the soil later on whenever the soil needs it. And the same thing for fennel and dill and other stuff like that. Fennel and dill particularly are good for hoverflies. They have these little tiny structured flowers that hoverflies love. Hoverflies are going to come along and lay their eggs on your pest insects, and their eggs hatch out and their larvae eat the pest insect. Gross. But it's pest control. So fennel and dill, even if I don't happen to necessarily want a whole lot of fennel and dill myself, a little bit is good. I'm not a huge fan of it, but a little bit. Well, the fennel, I like fennel. Makes Italian sausage taste yummy, but mainly you've got that because it's going to provide that pollinator support for the hoverflies, and the hoverflies are going to kill your some of your pest insects. Anyway, we have a natural plethora of dog fennel. Is that poisonous or consumable? Smells good. I don't know. How you like them apples? Hey, guess what? I've got a resource here. It's called plants.com. That's right. I've got it right here. Plants for a Future. And I'm going to look at dog fennel. Dog fennel. Let's type that in. And it says here, Eupatorium capillifolium dog fennel is a perennial growing to 3 meters. Wow, it can get big. Hermaphroditic, so it has both male and female organisms. USDA hardiness 3 to 10. It grows just about freaking everywhere. No edibility. Other uses. Very low utility. Oh, I see. But it smells good, right? I guess that's it. It smells good. Plant is used as a string herb to discourage insects. So I guess you might use it to help scare off insects. Not a whole lot of utility for that one, I'm afraid. Nope. But anyway, let me see here. There's John V. Yep, John V is an up and coming author that likes to try out phrases in the Glenn Beck chat. creative writing stuff. There's a character named Genevieve that always appears during every Snap Fest. Jerusalem artichokes, we have some, and what I've discovered about Jerusalem artichokes, we have not indulged in eating Jerusalem artichokes yet. Keep it in mind, we're just trying to like grow them and spread them for right now. When I have more of them, I will start eating them. But right now, I just want to make sure I know how to grow them and I know how to spread them, and I can reliably produce them, and then we'll find out if I even want to. Because yeah, they've been known to make people gassy, but apparently there's things that you can do that will improve the flavor and the digestibility of Jerusalem artichoke, aside from just developing the necessary gut biome to do the digestion, because most of the starch that's in them is called inulin. It doesn't digest during the normal digestion process. It digests in your intestines after it passes through your stomach, and it digests because of bacteria and enzymes that are in your guts. If those bacteria aren't there, then you don't get that effect, and you don't get the slow release of nutrients from it. But I mean, talking about something that you eat and it keeps on feeding you throughout the day, that's a pretty good vegetable, but it's a starch. So as long as it doesn't dump a whole bunch of sugar into your system at once, right? Amaranth amaranth comes in a bunch of different colors. Bunch of different colors. The ones that we're growing is like a really dark burgundy, and nothing else. But there's all different kinds of amaranth. Have I tried growing chia? Well, is chia or chia? I've tried growing chia, and I got it to grow, but I didn't get it to go to seed. I kind of wanted to get it to the point where it produced the flower and produced seed, but it never did. So we're a little bit too far north for that. Hey, trying sunchokes for the first time. The white Fuseau variety. Fisher. Yay. They are big. Sunchokes are big. Or Jerusalem artichokes or sunchokes. They are huge. The plants get almost 10, 12 foot tall, easy. So plant them behind other things. So like if you're going like, here's the sun over here, here's your wall over here on this side. Put your tall stuff over here, and then you could get shorter, and then same thing on the south side, shorter, work your way up to the tall stuff over here, and then on the west side, there's short stuff, and then work your way up to the tall stuff as you get to your. Assuming you're doing this around your house, right? Put the tall stuff in the back, and Jerusalem artichoke is probably about the tallest thing that you're going to plant. That isn't a tree, right? That isn't a perennial. Castor beans can get pretty big too. Those can get pretty big. So I want to move those a bit further back. They were kind of okay where they were. I had them where they fell over whenever they finally got too big and they fell over. They didn't get all the way out into the roadway, but they're close. So not too much further out from where I had them. They can get around 8 foot easy, maybe 10 foot. So Jerusalem artichokes, 10, 12 foot, big, tall things, right? Big, tall things. Castor beans, follow those up. Those are a little bit shorter. You put those in the front. And of course, castor beans have these brilliant red flowers and very pretty foliage too, going into your fall season. So you're not stuck with this dying garden that people go, oh, it doesn't look good. I mean, the Jerusalem artichokes throw on their flowers late in the season. The castor beans are in bloom late in the season. No, you're not eating the castor beans. That's not what they're for. They're to chase off the rodents, because the oil that they have produces a scent that causes the rodent to feel short of breath, like I can't breathe. I don't like it here. I gotta leave, and they take off. They hightail it out of there. And so far, it seems to be working. A combination of mint and castor beans. And I've got the mole repellent granules, which is basically the castor oil that's been soaked into a clay substrate, and then you scatter that around. I've tried that and didn't really seem to do a whole lot, but it seems like having the plants growing might actually make a difference, because the plants growing, they know that this stuff is going to be around. They're not going to be able to get rid of it. So in between the mint that has a scent that they don't like and the castor bean has a scent that they don't like, hopefully we can get the rodents to run away and leave me alone. Of course, the cats are out there on patrol. Those will help keep the rodent population down. If the rodent population is down, then hopefully the snake population stays down. Of course, the cats probably help me out with the snake population too. So all that's good. Billy is talking about dog fennel. It's not hurting anything. And until you've got something better to replace it with, it's a native. It's holding the soil down. It smells good. It's filling some niche in there, and from the looks of it, it looks like herbaceous perennial type niche, right? So no need to get rid of it. If it's not being a problem for you, then leave it. Yeah. Nothing wrong with having a nice smelling weed around that has no real thing for you other than maybe holds the soil down and who knows what else it does. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of information about it on Plants for a Future, but every plant is doing something. You know, they're not just sitting there looking pretty. They're all working. Everything is working. It's doing a job. Yeah. More beans. Goat likes amaranth. Yeah. I'll bet. You got some broadleaf plantain. Yeah, we had to go find the stuff, right? We didn't have Doc here. I had to go find Doc. Doc is actually easy to find most places. You go walk along the side of the road and look in the ditches, and chances are you'll find some Doc. And you could probably either get the living plant with living roots and bring it back home, or just wait until it goes to seed and those seed stalks turn dark red, and strip the seeds off, and then you can stratify them and plant them all over the place, and you will have Doc. And it reseeds itself, and it nativizes really easy, and it's a high iron, relatively low calorie, but fairly high iron pot herb, high in oxalic acid. So you don't want to eat too much of it raw. But once you cook it, it destroys the oxalic acid, and you don't have to worry about giving you kidney stones. It's just something that you can use to increase your iron content, particularly if you've suffered injury, lost a lot of blood, or if you're a lady and are of the age whenever replacing iron on a regular basis is a good idea. You know who you are. Once again, I am not a physician, so you will have to. Oh, I'm not a licensed physician, so you'll of course want to consult with the person that you trust to make medical choices, or to help you make medical choices before you go starting eating curly Doc on some crazy guy on the internet's word for it. But very good pot herb, and it grows really easy. The cold did not kill it off, even though we got down into the negative temperatures. It bounced right back. So, like within a week or so, it's like here it comes, and we can harvest more of it. And the thing about this about Doc is, whenever you harvest the leaves, it grows back thicker. More of it comes up. It's like, yeah, sure, eat me. I'll grow back. There'll be more, and that's kind of awesome. Save some garlic, save some onions, and maybe some kind of a starch, some kind of meat, and Doc greens will get you through the winter pretty good. But plantain was another thing that we had to get. This is why I have this comment up on the screen, right? Because I'm sorry, I'm rambling. Mary went and got plantain for us because she travels back and forth truck driving, so all the way up north and all the way down south, and everywhere she comes to a roadside stop and there's plantain growing, she's like, I'm gonna get some of this, and she brought it back in a bucket, and I transplanted it, and we got maybe 2 or 3 different varieties. I believe we've got definitely 2 varieties. We've got a North American native, which has kind of red stems close to the ground, right? That's a North American native plantain. And then we've got the European broadleaf plantain, which is the really, really wide leaves that you're more familiar with, right? I don't think we have any narrow leaf in the garden, but there's plenty of narrow leaf growing nearby. It was just the broadleaf plantain we were a little short on. It's like, this is bottomland. We should have broadleaf plantain growing here. It likes marshy ground. It likes wet places. It likes shade. It likes all this stuff. For some reason, we didn't have any growing. And that's just, I guess, because people had, come in here and they built neighborhoods and they put down sod and they covered up all the original stuff. And eventually, if you don't have the plants that are supposed to be in a region growing and producing seeds and replenishing the seed bank, then they stop coming up and you don't have them anymore. But now we've got plantains, so we've got all sorts of really good medicinal herbs growing in case we need to rely upon those. And Sasspress asking if I direct seed castor beans. Yes, I do, and I think they may, to a certain extent, be self-seeding. If they're out in an area where you're going to have a lot of leaf litter come down in the fall, right? Your castor beans are dying off. If you don't harvest all the seeds, and you're probably not going to, a lot of them are going to fall on the ground. That's okay. They're going to get covered by leaf litter. They're going to get buried. They're going to get hydrated. They'll probably germinate, and you'll probably get more castor beans. Zone 7 in the south, almost certainly, right? Because they're supposed to be nativized to more southern climates. Yeah. Warren Fuzzy is saying, I hear sunjooks are a great potato replacement if you can digest them. And once again, it depends upon whether or not you've got the enzymes in your digestive tract. They can be produced by bacteria growing in your digestive tract, just like everything else. You're supposed to have bacteria in your digestive tract. Do not be alarmed. There are little tiny animals living inside of you. Do not be alarmed. It's normal. But not everybody has the necessary little animals living inside them to digest that particular type of starch. So if you don't have the necessary bacterium in your gut, do not be alarmed. Eat a small amount of it. Chances are you're going to have some that you're going to be exposed to. I mean, they're in the air, they're in the soil, they're in the water. Dehydrate yourself and go take a bath, and you'll get all kinds of interesting bacteria in your intestines. Hopefully it's clean water. This is how dysentery happens. Anyway, stay hydrated. Your intestines have bacteria in it that process your food. That's all I'm saying. After you've eaten it and it gets down in there is an additional digestive process. In the case of inulin, that's where it actually gets digested. So small amounts, and make sure you don't get cramps from eating it. And if you're not suffering ill effects, then you can eat more. The thing I've got for potato replacement here, because potatoes, you got to have a good long cool season to grow them. And some winters we get that, some falls going into winter we get it here in Oklahoma, and sometimes we don't. And depending upon where you are in the cycle, there's like an 80-year climate cycle that covers the plains out here. I mean, you guys may not have heard of it, but there's about 80 years, and we're coming up on, the years before I was born, just before, but shortly after we had plenty of snow here on the prairie, which is fun. Sometimes you can get away with growing potatoes, and sometimes you can't. Let's put it that way. When I was a kid, you could get away with growing potatoes because we were in that time period where you got the nice long cool season in the spring, and we got snow, right? And that's coming up again. It's not here just yet, I don't think. Maybe it is. This might be. We might be at the beginning of that part of the cycle, and then we can grow russet Burbanks in the spring, right? Because those are a longer season potato. Right now in the spring, I think if we wanted to grow them, we'd have to stick with like a Pontiac Red or something really short season. Norland, maybe. I don't know. Fall, you can get away with it. In any case, cannas are a starchy vegetable that does not mind if it gets hot. And as a matter of fact, it goes, hey, wow, I was waiting for it to get hot. Golly, let's get going. The only thing it cares about really is that it has enough water. So as long as you keep your soil good and hydrated, cannas will produce big, plump, starchy rhizomes, and you can use those for starch. We par cook them and then cut them up and slice them, and then you can fry them, or you can cube them and put them in stews. There is a way that you can treat them to get the starch out and make noodles with the starch. I haven't taught myself how to do that yet, so I'm not showing you. Not saying that you won't be able to do it, but I'm just saying if you're waiting for me to get around to it, it may be a while because I'm scatterbrained. I forget that there are projects that I'm supposed to learn. Oh yeah, asparagus. We got some more asparagus coming up. I'm gonna have to try to resist the temptation to go divide my crowns. I want to grow one more year and then I'll divide them. And Mary's going to sit here. When do I get to have some asparagus? Because every time I do this, like we're going to wait a couple of years and then we're going to divide the crowns, and we're going to wait a couple of years, then we're going to divide the crowns, and we're going to wait a couple of years, divide the crowns, and every time you do this, you have to wait a few years before you start eating asparagus, right? So you wait a few years, divide the crowns. Now you can't eat the asparagus. You're still waiting, right? But it's horrible. I might just go out and get some more asparagus just so we can get more asparagus to eat because it is so tasty. Fresh asparagus right out of the garden. You snap the spear off and you can just eat it right there. It is sweet and delicious and good. It's full of minerals and vitamins and tasty. And you didn't have to do anything other than like plant it, divide your crowns periodically, and have a little patience because once your asparagus bed gets developed, then that stuff produces forever, forever and ever and ever. And if you're lucky, you'll get two crops out of it every year. You get a spring crop and you'll get a fall crop too. Yep, yep, yep. Biggie's talking about shade cloth. They said they're using a 40% black shade cloth. Works better than white shade cloth. We got some black, and then we got some other. I think we got like a blue and white. I don't know. It's. I gotta try to avoid using it because it's made out of plastic. I don't have any way of replacing it, and I don't want to become reliant upon something that you know I'm gonna not be able to replace in case things go weird. Yep. Some kind of blackberry popping up. Have you found like the trailing raspberry vines? You know, the ones that don't really make good raspberries, but they're thorny as heck. They'll like grab a hold of you. Those are fun. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not fun at all. Interesting though. You know, your best native blackberries are the ones that are the sweetest, the best berries, right? They're on the thorniest canes, just the thorniest, nastiest canes. But the berries are so good. They're so good. Ooh. So Billy is hoping that he's gonna get blueberries, and blueberries typically want to grow in places where you have really high pH. I'm sorry, really low pH. Oh, high acidity, low pH. There we go. High pH is high is alkaline. Low pH is acidic. Average soil is about 7, and normal average is anywhere from 6.5 to 7.5. Blueberries do better on the lower end of that, 6.5 down to 5.5. Although 5.5 is that point where blueberries are about the only thing that likes it there. Maybe some other fruits. Yep, yep, yep. Oh. Well, yeah, you never know, right? Well, a lot of the things I'm growing out here, it's not that I eat them on a regular basis. I don't. I can. If I had to, I will. I've experimented with them, so I can know that I can eat them. But mainly, what I do is I spread them around, so there's more of them, and then 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 more of them. Because I'm past the point where if I need to rely upon it, there's enough I can feed myself. That's not a problem. I'm not going to starve, and probably another two other people with me not going to starve. But what if I can feed more? What if I can find a way to make sure 5 or 6 people don't starve, 7, 8 people don't starve? Then I start planting stuff in the woods and in the fields and going out, just going crazy with it. Right now, I've got food just spreading out away from here, and people are like, why is all this food around here? And then of course then the game comes along too because you start planting things that are good to eat. It's not just good for people to eat; the animals like to eat some of this stuff too. So you have deer showing up, you've got rabbits, and you've got squirrels, and you got We don't have any hogs out here, thank goodness. That would be a little bit more than I want to deal with. Wild hogs, probably not. They'd tear everything up. Hi, Kitty. Can you hear her? Betty is chirping. She's making a little chirping sound. I'm fairly well behaved. All right. The goose, the chickens, and 11-year-old pair of brooders. All right. Let me see here. James Prigioni is growing asparagus from seed. That sounds fun. I mean, if you want to get a new variety, that's what you have to do. You've got to grow it. You got to let it open pollinate. You got to plant the seed, and then you got to see what you're going to grow. And if you want to get really highly adapted strains, grow from seed. Grow from seed, and then do your divisions and everything. Another half ton of manure. Yeah, lots of organic matter. Billy says the forest soil sits at 6.2 pH and the garden soil tests at 6.8. Okay. Your blueberries should be okay. I mean, they'd probably be happier on the 6.2 end in the forest, and maybe a bit more acidic. And then you can always do fun stuff like interplant pines in there, or alders, or another tree that's good for producing or acidifying the soil. Mulberry would be another choice, because the mulberry will go down and it'll draw the sulfur up into the leaves. Leaves drop, leaves decompose up here at the surface, and the geobacter convert that sulfur into sulfuric acid to acidify the soil. Not a lot. It's just to keep it towards the low end of the pH scale. That makes your blueberries happy. That's all I'm saying. Right. And also, it's behind the green screen. I've got a bag of not ecto, ericaceous mycorrhizal fungi on the shelf behind me. I got it from England, of all places. They shipped it over here. A lot of gardeners over there, right? They're growing with broom, they're growing with heather, and they're other plants like that. And these are ericaceous plants, so they get ericaceous mycorrhiza, and they mix that in there with the soil, and now you've got a ecosystem where the plants are supporting each other instead of just being a raw struggle for supremacy. But who knows? Maybe somebody's got it already imported here, and you can get it without having to wait for it to ship in from overseas. Sash says, I found a piece of steel for the rust never sleeps sign. I'm going to type something in chat here so y'all can see it. It is a motto. It's not my motto. That's a pretty good motto. I'll put that out there. And see that one. Rubigo non dormant. And I kind of wonder about the rubigo, because it makes me think rubric red, right? Red. So it might be the color rust and not so much the rust itself. There's another word for corruption, I think, but you get the concept, right? Rust never sleeps. Rubigo non dormant. Corruption never sleeps. Rust never sleeps. When you're not busy making sure that the weeds aren't taking over your garden, they'll grow to choke all, right? And of course, because rubigo non dormant, and you can put this like on the underside, you like rubigo non dormant at the top, and then the top banner, and then on the other side, you're making a seal on the bottom side. You're right. I probably misspelled semper paratus, but you get the idea. Because rust never sleeps, always be prepared. It is ericaceous or ericoid. Something like that. And I may have misspelled that word, but it's probably close enough that your search engine will get you there, right? Ericaceous and ericoid. And it's just the style of interaction that it does, the fungal hyphae make with your roots. See, Kitty decided to join us. Hi, Kitty. Did you hear her chirping? She's so cute. She's such a cute Betty Kitty. Hi. Hi, Betty. We're gonna have to make sure you're not preggers, and if you're not preggers, then we're gonna take you down to visit the SPCA. Yeah, we're gonna take you to visit the SPCA, and you're gonna have a little operation, and then you're not gonna be a mommy cat. Oh, if we lived way out in the country, I'd let you be a mommy cat because we would need an endless supply of kitties. But we're in the city, and we don't need an endless supply of kitties here. Endless supply of kitty. What? It's a coffee cup. It's a coffee cup. That's all it is. That's all it is, kitty. Hello, good people. You've tuned into Green Country Agriforce. You watch a cat, watch a man drink coffee. That's right. That's what you're here for. Come here, baby. Hi. All righty. So we're on our way to spring, galloping towards it. I'm gonna find a different place to put these kale seeds that Mary ordered for me. Thank you, Mary, by the way. She got, what is this? Mixed seeds. And it says 4 varieties of kale. I don't know which four varieties of kale, but it's so it should be kept warm at between 60 and 65 maybe for germination. So not quite ready to germinate just yet. And these are, like I said, these are a perennial, and we're want to put these in some place where we're not going to be turning the soil or doing anything different with the soil anytime in the near future, right? So that area in the front that we showed you in today's video, that's the spot where they put the water main through, and they inverted the soil layers, brought all the clay to the surface. So all we're doing there is cover cropping to convert that clay into good topsoil, and it's not bad for the first year. And we're talking, it's just red clay, dark red clay, nothing but dark red clay was on the surface. And that bit that we got, it's not sticking together. So we broke up the clay clumps. We got some organic matter mixed in, but we're not done yet, but not by a long shot. It seems like most of the work happens while we've got those roots in the ground and they're pumping the sugars in there, and there's a soil life being fostered. So we're going to keep the stuff growing in it because that seems to be doing the most work, the most help. I don't know what the 3 types are. Mary would have to tell us because she's the one who bought them. We do have blue Scotch curled kale also. So I've got another pack with specifically the blue Scotch curled kale. Yeah, pretty stuff. And of course, we got Turkish Rocket coming up. I got that one from Sean at Edible Acres. I got, like, it's embarrassing. I got a bunch of plants. I mean, a bunch. And one of them survived. But it survived, and it made it through the freeze, and it's coming back, and we're going to have more. It's going to multiply, and we're going to have more of that Turkish Rocket. And the one that survived is going to be the one that grows here, apparently. But the rest of them, they didn't make it. They didn't make it, which I guess is a good place to point out that not every nursery is going to be the place that you want to get your plants from. Not because it's a bad nursery. Sean's got a great nursery. Everything's fine there. It's just simply that the plants that he's growing are used to growing in the Finger Lakes region of New York and not in Oklahoma. So I got a bunch of plants, put them in, and they didn't all make it, but one did. And I kind of suspected that it was going to be a death march because, you know, it's just the things are adapted to living up there and not here. If we can get at least a couple to pull through, then great, we'll build off of that. Also, Akiva Silver at Twisted Tree Farm, once again in the Finger Lakes region. I got some ramps from him, some Allium tricornum. So there's a little bit of controversy. I don't know how much controversy it is about wildcrafting ramps, right? If you live in Appalachia, these allium tricornum, they grow wild in the woods. They grow back in the trees, in the shade, in the hills, and they grow wild there. And people will harvest them, and they're kind of like a wild leek. Okay, and they harvest them, and some people take them. They sell them at the farmers markets and stuff like that. And the concern is that you do this too much, and you're going to run out. They'll just destroy the entire wild population of ramps. They're called ramps, but they're kind of a wild leek. But what Akiva's doing is he's taking them and selling the entire plant start, so you can get them spread to other places, and hopefully we can get Allium tricornum to grow out here for us. That'd be kind of nice. If they do, then yay, we'll have some, and if they don't, then well, nothing ventured, nothing gained, I guess. Yeah. Sasspress talking about people decimated the wild patches for money, right? Yeah. And yeah, you can pick you can pick the leaves. You don't have to harvest the entire plant. But I mean, really, you harvest the entire. If you do harvest the entire plant, harvest them, spread some around, take some home. Spread some around, take some home. Spread some around, take some home. Right, and then you'll never run out. Yeah, and people would wait and get the seed and start their own. Yeah. Yep. Uh, anyway, we're gonna find out if I can grow ramps. Yay! And then later on, after we get the canopy up and everything, I gotta try maybe some Cornus canadensis, a creeping dogwood on the ground. That will be fun. Reason, it's high in pectin, and if you want to make your own jams and jellies and you can't buy pectin from the grocery store, then grow a berry that makes a lot of pectin, and then you can harvest the pectin from the berry. It doesn't taste like much of anything. So you basically would grow the creeping dogwood for its pectin berries, high pectin containing berries, process those for the pectin, and then process your other fruit to make your preserves with. And then you got jam from scratch, guys. We can get jam from scratch. So fun stuff. Um, Sasspress talking about ramps. 2 varieties up there in Illinois. Some sugar maple, wild Sicily, and little gill. Cool. Alrighty, guys. I've been on here for about an hour and told you what we're up to, what we're doing. They're supposed to pick up the dumpster tomorrow. We've pretty much got the garage cleared out, so that's good. Yeah. Gonna get back to business as usual. Back to gardening again, by golly. And maybe not so much trying to plant seeds into the soiled seed bank of human civilization for the day when they'll germinate and give forth good fruit. Mary is asking about the back room. We did not get to the back room, Mary. If we have time before they come to haul away, that I don't know. I don't know about that little washing machine. I think we'll just have to save that for the next dumpster trip. Next time we get the dumpster, we're going to get the dumpster again here in probably another few months. Whenever I have enough cash to pay for labor again. we spent a lot on labor, right? Because there are companies out there that advertise, cleanup services. They'll bring out the dumpster. They bring the spare hands, grab the trash, haul it to the dumpster, throw everything away. Fucking beautiful service, love it, but not so much right where we're at. That service is advertised, but they don't work here. So we had to do it in parts. I had to get the dumpster from one company, and then I had to find people to do the labor. You put the two together, and after a few days, kind of mix and match, we finally got most of the stuff out of the garage. And that's important because we can't do the rest of this until we've got that squared away. You guys hear the chirping, right? Okay, kitty. Okay, kitty. Okay. We'll get you chin scratches. Joe. Hi, Joe. Well, Joe was here earlier. He didn't just pop in. He was here. He was here earlier. All right. I do have one more box over here. Yeah, these aren't mine. Okay, give me a second. We got one more box over here. I guess we could open up, find out what's in here. All right, here we go. We're gonna open up one more box. Joey located hickory nuts. Oh, awesome. Yeah. Hickory nuts. What do we got? 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 Oh my gosh, we got organic tea tree essential glass dropper. Really? Tea tree oil? Melaleuca alternifolia? Oh my gosh, you got a big one. Do you use this stuff, Mary? It says 100% pure and natural. Ooh. Okay. It is Melaleuca steam distilled from South Africa. Uh-huh. Other than aromatherapy, please dilute carefully with a carrier oil. Yeah, probably. Full strength might not be good to put directly on skin. Maybe. And then we've got, ooh, look at there. A glass drop. I am going to put all of this back in the box it came from because until we're ready to actually use it, I don't want to like lose that glass dropper. So we'll put it in the box with the bottle, and somebody that wants to use it can use it. Mary, I'm assuming this is for you. I never was too impressed with the antiseptic properties of Melaleuca alternifolia. I didn't have great results with it. Maybe it just doesn't work well for me. I don't know. Or maybe we just had really bad stuff. What is this? Laundry sheets with cornstarch? Instead of baby powder. I see. Fragrance, fresh linen scent, water, glycerol. Eh. Okay. We got coffee mate. Okay. What else? What's this? IoT compostable trash bags. Well, look at that. Mary, it's a green label. Mary got compostable trash bags. Cool. All right. Yay. Because after all, right, you go throw your garbage away, right? You put it in a plastic bag that goes to the landfill, and plastic's in the landfill. Great. Unless, of course, you got a compostable trash bag, and then you just trash in the landfill, right? Throwaway society, where we live today, makes me think a little bit about, oh my gosh, the people in the Amazon back in the day, right? They have a throwaway civilization too, only they use clay instead of plastic. They make a pot, right? Put your trash in it, go to the bathroom in it, do whatever you're going to do. Put the what's left over from your fire in there, and then you just toss the entire thing into the landfill. It's a little pit landfill. And then that stuff builds up, you bury it, and then you come back years and years later, it is called terra preta. And I think maybe that's how it happened, because there's this like huge quantity of potsherds mixed in there. It just doesn't make sense that you would have so much pottery. Are you guys that bad at making pottery that you just get all these potsherds from all your failed attempts? Or maybe what they were doing was, because clay was just so ubiquitous and easy to use, that they would just, let's make a vessel out of clay, fill it, and when it's full, we throw the entire thing away and make a new vessel. Or maybe there's a guy who makes vessels in town, and that's like their equivalent of plastic. Is throwaway culture, and it was Paleolithic throwaway culture, and they made terra preta in the process. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we're not going to be making terra preta with this, though. But it is compostable, so we're not just throwing plastic in there. He says those bags do not leak. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, like remember when they made real tools that just don't break? In the course of cleaning out the garage, we came across the brace and bit, and we made sure that we did not throw away the brace and the bit, all the auger bits that go with it. Who knows? Maybe we actually have to use that thing to drill holes one of these days. I don't want to have to, but if we do, we've got it. There we go. And brace and bit, drill the hole, take a sapling, whittle it until it gets down to just about the point where you can take your mallet and drive it into the hole, and you can make stuff without nails. Congratulations. Oh boy, we can go primitive if we have to. Hopefully, you don't have to, right? Hopefully, we don't have to. The ancients were as trashy as us. Isn't that a crazy thought? Maybe, yeah, yeah. This is in South America, right? Um, you guys watch Kaylee Does Science? Dutch girl, blonde, uh, likes to cover archaeology stories. She was talking about one that they found recently in Ecuador, and they found it with lidar. So they got the picture returns from low flying aircraft doing lidar, probably looking for people doing things in the woods they shouldn't have been doing. Growing the drugs, maybe. Being rebels, maybe, I don't know. But they found evidence of structures from an old city, and this was like the footprint of an actual city, not just grass huts, but somebody had built a city straight lines, which means that they excavated and leveled the roads, because you don't do straight line roads over convoluted terrain. You do roads that follow the contour of the terrain, unless you are doing full scale engineering work where you are leveling terrain, you're moving earth and stuff like that. That's what they were doing. They were moving earth on a major scale. They were altering the landscape so they could have straight lines and roads and right angles here in Ecuador. And I don't know what the age of this thing is, but it got buried by volcanoes. So kind of like Pompeii, only it's in South America, right? But who knows what those people are up to so many years ago. Uh, Old continent, old planet, lots of stories, and we don't know them all. We don't know them all. We've lost so many. Anyway, yeah, ancients were as trashy as us. Could be. Like, the more things change, the more things stay the same. We're still human beings. We still have the same tendencies and inclinations, right? And my nose is stopping it now, so yay. Uh, Jasper is saying we have so much material we find after the collapse, all the gears, the glass, the wire, etc. All the clothes, like this is one of the things. Like, we need to make sure that we don't forget how to weave cloth, but there's so much of it out there, right? But really, we do want to make sure that we don't completely and totally forget how to weave cloth. Because we're not all made to walk around in all of our naked glory and be enjoyed by everyone. Yes, man is a wonderful piece of art, greatest one of the greatest artists ever created him, but we don't necessarily want to see all of him. Thank you. Well, we don't know. They were all giants, by golly, but the atmospheric density definitely would lend itself to having larger people. Larger people and longer lifespans. That would be what you would expect if there was a denser atmosphere with more oxygen per unit of volume whenever you inhale, because your lung capacity hasn't changed, right? But if you get more oxygen for every breath, then you live longer, you heal faster, you might be bigger, or at least you can get away with being bigger, right? Yep. I'm pretty sure there's some big people out there. I don't know how big. Right? But if the average person is 5 or 6 foot tall, and you've got people that are 7 foot 6, 7 foot 7, 7 foot 8, those are giants. Anything 7 foot, that's a giant. If you're 5 foot, it's the 2 foot taller. That's a lot of difference in height, right? But yeah, more oxygen, and of course a more dense atmosphere. That's what we had. Um, I calculated it once. It came out to 144 trillion tons if we were to get the planet to to be restored. Well, that's the question. To be at a pressure that is optimal for human life. Whether humans were ever here at the time that it was that, I don't know. Kitty, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. No, no bites. No bites. You're gonna behave yourself. Come here. Get your butt over here. Yes. Yes. No bites. Come here. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to have to grab you like that, but you're feisty. Feisty. What's our atmospheric carbon? Yeah, it's 0.04%. It's tiny, tiny, tiny little bit. Yeah. The total amount of carbon dioxide in Earth's atmosphere compared with what's in Mars' atmosphere. Mars has more. Mars' atmosphere is 90% carbon dioxide. And then whenever you take a look at the temperature at the equator during the middle of summer on Mars, you would think, okay, CO2, such a wonderful insulating material, we should see a lot of stability in the temperature at the equator of Mars. In the middle of summer, hottest part, it should hold some heat, right? It should hold it. But no, it doesn't hold for poo. It's complete and total boondoggle. The real world physics don't match up the models, and they're trying to pull a fast one on you, buddies. It's the no. 0.3% was as low as it got, and things started dying off. Because it's not just the carbon in the atmosphere, it's the oxygen too. That's oxygen bonded with the carbon molecule is what carbon dioxide is. And the oxygen came from our atmosphere to begin with. So if you burnt fuel or you inhaled and exhaled, until a plant takes that CO2, uptakes it through their stomata, uses the power of the sun along with water to create a simple sugar molecule and expire oxygen from that, we don't get that oxygen back. We don't get it. So we have to keep things growing, right? So we can get our oxygen back. And of course, once the plant's made that sugar, it becomes organic matter that goes into the soil. So we have organic matter, carbon, in the living layers of soil where it actually does us some good, and not trapped under layers of rock where it does us absolutely no good whatsoever. So I'm not worried about carbon. It's not a pollutant. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night because I've got to get back to work early in the morning. They're going to pick up the dumpster, but I've got a little bit more work loading the stuff in. I've got like some old guttering I got to toss in there, and some odds and ends of fencing that I don't think I'm going to do anything with, that are just a safety hazard if they're lying around. But like they're the sharp bits that I trimmed off the ends of panels. So that's got to go. So anyway, thank you very much for joining us tonight. As always, I hope you found the video informative or entertaining. Yay, gardening is back, and I will catch you next time. Until then, get out there and get growing. Good night, everybody.